According to most people, the word religion means spiritual group. Also, according to most people, the only path to salvation is to join a religion or spiritual group. But the question is, what is the correct religion or spiritual group to join? But before we can answer that, we must first determine where religion or spiritual group originated. According to history, religion or spiritual group originated from the land of Shinar or Sumer. And in the land of Shinar or Sumer, a kingdom was established by Nimrod, who was against the Lord. According to Genesis 10:8-10, and Cush begat Nimrod. He, Nimrod, began to become powerful in the land. He became a powerful huntsman who was against Yahweh, so he was called Nimrod, a powerful huntsman in the face of Yahweh. And came the beginning of his kingdom, came Babel and Erech and Calneh in the land of Shinar or Sumer. In other words, Nimrod, who was against the Lord, invented a religion or spiritual group in the land of Shinar or Sumer to lead the people away from the Lord and have them follow him. This is also the deed of Jeroboam or Yeravam, one of the former kings of Israel, who was also against the Lord, and also invented a religion or spiritual group to lead the people away from the Lord and also have them follow him. According to 1 Kings 12:26-33, and Jeroboam or Yeravam said in his heart, the kingdom of Israel will turn back to the house of David. If these people ascend to sacrifice in the house of Yahweh in Jerusalem or Jerusalem, it will turn back the hearts of these people. These people will turn back their hearts toward the Lord, toward Rehoboam or Rehoboam, the king of Judah or Yehuda. They will kill me and turn back toward Rehoboam or Rehoboam, the king of Judah. And the king of Israel, Jeroboam or Yeravam, suggested the making of 2 golden calves, and said toward them, too many have joined the ascendants in Jerusalem or Jerusalem. Look, these are the gods, or Elohim, of Israel or Yisrael, who carried you out from the land of Egypt, or Mitzyarim. And he, Jeroboam or Yeravam, placed the first one of the golden calves in Bethel or Bethel, and the other one was given in Dan, a city at the uttermost part of the nation of Israel or Yisrael. And these words from Jeroboam or Yeravam became sin, and the people went in front of one of the golden calves, while in Dan, a city at the uttermost part of the nation of Israel or Yisrael. And he, Jeroboam or Yeravam, made a house in a high place, and appointed priests who are from the uttermost part of the nation of Israel or Yisrael, which are not from the children of Levi. And Jeroboam or Yeravam made a feast in the month, in the 8th month, in the 15th day of the month, in the feast which is in Judah or Yehuda. He, Jeroboam or Yeravam, ascended upon the altar. After that, he made in Bethel or Bethel a sacrifice to the golden calf, which he made to stand in Bethel or Bethel, to the priest in a high place which he, Jeroboam or Yeravam, have appointed. And he, Jeroboam or Yeravam, ascended upon the altar, which he made in Bethel or Bethel, in the 15th day of the month, in the 8th month, which he invented in his heart. He made a feast to the children of Israel or Israel, and he ascended upon the altar and burned incense. In other words, everyone who were against the Lord invented a religion or spiritual group, and have added or done away commandments, mitzvah or mitzvot, that was given by God to Moses at Mount Sinai. According to Deuteronomy 4:2, never add upon the words which I command you, neither do away from. Keep the commandments, mitzvah or mitzvot of Yahweh Elohim, which I command you. Also, according to Lord Yeshua or Christ in John 5:46-47, for if you believe Moses, you will believe me, for he wrote about me. Moreover, if you believe not his book or in Torah, how much more will you believe my words? And just like Jeroboam or Yeravam, this is the same deed of those who also invented a religion or spiritual group, made graven images and declared that this is God, and fabricated feasts which are not written in the law of God or in Torah that was given to Moses at Mount Sinai, like Christmas, Eid al-Fitr, Vesak, and Diwali. In short, there is no correct religion or spiritual group, because what's important is that we fear God and do righteousness, or follow the law of God or in Torah, that was given to Moses at Mount Sinai. According to Acts 10:34-35, moreover, Peter opened his mouth and said, "Upon the truth I understand that God is not partial or biased, but in all nations the one who fears him or fears God and do righteousness or follows the law of God or in Torah is accepted by him or by God." Some might ask, if there is no correct religion, what was the religion mentioned in James 1:26-27? If any of you seem to be religious, who does not control his tongue, instead deceive his heart, this religion bears no fruit. A clean and pure religion that is near to God and Father is this: taking care of the orphans and widows in trouble, and keeping oneself unblemished from the world. If we look at the original language using James 1:26-27, which is written in Greek, the word religion was translated from the word treskaia, and the word religious was translated from the word treskas. And the definition of the word treskaia is ceremonial observance or worshipping, and the definition of the word treskas is ceremonious in worship or pious. Now, using the words that we just translated, if we read again James 1:26-27, this is what we'll see. If any of you seem to be ceremonious in worship, who does not control his tongue, instead deceive his heart, this worship bears no fruit. A clean and pure worship that is near to God and Father is this: taking care of the orphans and widows in trouble, and keeping oneself unblemished from the world. In other words, the mentioned religion in James 1:26-27 is worship of God and not a spiritual group like what most people know. This means the talks in James 1:26-27 is about the correct worship of God, not the correct spiritual group, which cannot be done with just words alone, just like what's mentioned in James 1:26. If any of you seem to be ceremonious in worship, who does not control his tongue, instead deceive his heart, this worship bears no fruit. Instead, should be done with works, or follows the law of God or in Torah, just like what's mentioned in James 1:27. A clean and pure worship that is near to God and Father is this: taking care of the orphans and widows in trouble, and keeping oneself unblemished from the world. According to James 1:25, the verse before James 1:26-27, moreover, look into the complete or perfect law of God or in Torah, of freedom from sin, and keep oneself to be not a forgetful hearer of the law of God or in Torah, instead a doer of works, or follows the law of God or in Torah, he shall be blessed in his deeds. Some might ask, what about the church of God? If we look at the Greek word for church, the word we'll read is ekklesia, and the word ecclesia originated from two words, ek and kaleo. And the definition for the word ek means from, and kaleo means call, when put together, from those who are called. In other words, the definition of the word ecclesia means from those who are called by God or assembly of God. This means the church of God is the assembly of God, not the assembly of man, like many other religion or spiritual group. Some might ask, then who are the church of God or assembly of God? According to Acts 7:37-38, this is the Moses or Moshe that said to the children of Israel or Yisrael, the Lord your God will rise up to you a prophet from your brother Judah or Yehuda. Like me, hear him. This is he, Yeshua or Christ, who has become in the assembly or church in the wilderness between the messenger, Moses or Moshe. He, Yeshua or Christ, spoke to him, to Moses or Moshe, at Mount Sinai, and our fathers who received the words of life gave us. This means the people that Moses or Moshe spoke in the wilderness is the church of God or assembly of God, and they are the children of Israel or Yisrael. Because remember, Israel or Yisrael is the chosen nation of God, according to Exodus 19:6 and 1 Peter 2:9. And the word nation in Hebrew is goy. And the word goy came from the word gewa, which means back or body. And if we read Colossians 1:18, and he, Yeshua or Christ, is the head of the body, the assembly or church, who is the firstborn from the dead, in order that in all he may become the first. In other words, Israel or nation of God is the body of Lord Yeshua or Christ. Some might ask, does this mean we may never become part of the Church of God or Assembly of God because we did not descend from Israel? According to Paul in Ephesians 2:11-19, wherefore, remember, because you, in the old time, were Gentiles in flesh, who they call as the uncircumcised, under who they call as the circumcised in flesh, made by hands. Because in that one time you were separate from the Christ, Yeshua, an alien from the citizenship of Israel, and foreign to the covenant or agreement of promise, holding no hope and godless in the world. Moreover, now you, the ones from the past, being far or Gentiles, have become near or Israelites in the blood of the Christ or Yeshua. For he, Christ, is our peace. He, Christ, made both of us one, Gentiles and Israelites, and broke the partition fence. Abolish in his flesh not the law of God or in Torah, but the hostility of the law of God or in Torah toward sinners, the commandments and ordinances, in order to create in himself the two, Gentiles and Israelites, into one new man of peace, and to reconcile fully both Gentiles and Israelites to God our Father in one body through the stake or cross, to kill in him not the law of God or in Torah, but the hostility of the law of God or in Torah toward sinners, and came with good news of peace to you, the far Gentiles and near Israelites, because through him, Christ, both Gentiles and Israelites can hold access in one spirit toward the Father. Certainly, therefore, you are no longer foreign and strangers, rather fellow citizens, the sacred ones, and of the house of God. And according to Romans 2:25-29, indeed, circumcision truly benefits if one practices the law of God or in Torah. But if one have been a violator of the law of God or in Torah, your circumcision becomes uncircumcised. Certainly, if the uncircumcised or Gentile keeps the righteousness, the law of God or in Torah, he would not indeed be counted into the uncircumcised or Gentile, but counted into the circumcised or Israelite. And judge, he who is uncircumcised in nature or Gentile accomplishes the law of God or in Torah, or you who in letter or birth certificate and is circumcised or Israelite violates the law of God or in Torah. For he is not a Jew or Israelite outward, neither circumcised outward in flesh. Rather, he is a Jew or Israelite inward, and circumcised in the heart, in spirit, not in letter or birth certificate, whose praise is not from man, rather from God. In other words, anyone who follows the law of God or in Torah, and believes in Yeshua or Christ, will become a Jew or child of Israel, and part of the Church of God or Assembly of God. According to Yeshua or Christ in Matthew 5:17-19. Think not that I came to destroy the law or in Torah, or the prophets, or Nevi'im. I never came to destroy, but to fulfill, or do. For surely I speak to you, even the sky and the world perish, one jot or one least of the law or in Torah will never perish. Nothing will perish of the law or in Torah, even all will be fulfilled, or done. Who certainly breaks one of these least commandments, mitzvah or mitzvot, and teach men after this manner, will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does or fulfill and teach these will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. If you find this helpful, just simply like and subscribe to this channel. If you want to help back, just kindly donate at our Ko-fi or Patreon. Links are in the description. Thank you and God bless.